Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Welcome back to another video. We are going to make some pumpkin protein bagels. Now at the time when I started this recipe, I had no idea how much of each ingredient I was going to use. I really had to kind of try it to see what the consistency was. So this is kind of a play on the 2-ingredient dough bagel. Here's all the ingredients I used, but because I was using pumpkin puree, I didn't want to do the normal 1 cup to 1 cup ratio of the 2-ingredient dough bagels. So with the self-rising flour, I ended up using 1 3/4 cup plus 2 tablespoons of the flour. For the Greek yogurt, I used 1 cup plus 3 tablespoons. Of the pumpkin puree, I ended up using 6.5 tablespoons. And of the sugar-free syrup, I used 3 tablespoons, plus I ended up using 1 more teaspoon just for the consistency. I did about a teaspoon of vanilla. And then I was out of cinnamon. I was going to do both cinnamon and pumpkin pie spice because sometimes I feel like the pumpkin pie spice does not have enough cinnamon. I ended up using 2 teaspoons of the pumpkin pie spice. And then I just took clean hands and just put everything all together. Now if you don't have self-rising flour, you can also add in probably about 2 teaspoons or 1.5 to 2 teaspoons of baking powder, and that can make your flour like self-rising flour. And then I'm just going to kind of knead this a little bit. Now I did add on 2 tablespoons of flour here on the ground, which I get on the ground on the counter, which I guess technically I should have added that to my dough ratio, but I forgot. I used to do that back in the day when I did a lot of 2-ingredient dough. Now I am weighing out the entire dough ball so I can divide it by 4. That is the other thing. These are huge. If I would have known how large they were going to come out, I should have done 5 bagels, and looking back now, I should have just done that because they looked so big when I was making them, but I was so happy with how they turned out that I just went with the 4. So I just weighed out the whole dough ball, and then I just divided that by 4. And then just weighed out each bagel on my scale. So mine was roughly 805 grams for the whole ball. And so I did about 201, 202 for each bagel. But like I said, you can definitely do 5 bagels out of this because they turned out really large. You're going to see them. And it's not just because they look big on camera. They are really big. So now I just always roll out kind of a log here, and I just kind of roll it into a circle. I don't ever put holes in my bagels because I end up usually just cutting them, and when I'm making like bagel sandwiches, I usually want them to cut really nicely. So I prefer, and you can see I messed up on that one. I could have taken that out, but I didn't. So I just prefer just to kind of make them kind of in just a circle, and you'll see when I get everything all done. So I just did that with all 4 of them. I think these come out to, and there'll be much less calories also, and then like 1 less point if you do 5 bagels. And then once I had them all done, I'm going to take an egg wash. So I'm just taking an egg. I'm going to whisk that together with just a little bit of water, and then that will be our egg wash. And then I'm just going to take a little bit of a topping as well. So I'm going to use 1 tablespoon of the swirl brown sugar. I put 2 tablespoons in here, but then I realized that was way too much. So I did end up doing 1 tablespoon of the swirl brown sugar, and then just a whole heck of a lot of pumpkin pie spice because I love it. Just going to mix that all together, and then once I put the egg wash on the bagels, then we will sprinkle that on top, and it's just going to kind of add just kind of a little bit of a sweeter taste to them. So I'm just going to take that egg wash and just, kind of lightly spread it all over. Now, these bagels, of course, are not like real dough bagels where they, if you handle them too much, they will kind of fall apart, like most 2-ingredient dough bagels. Some people get the 2-ingredient dough bagels to come out so well. I just don't think I have the patience to do it, and I don't have much of a baking background. So to me, I feel like these came out just, I don't know. I was very, very impressed with how well these came out for me. So I'm just taking the egg wash, and I'm just going to lightly, and that helps make them kind of crispy on top and gives them a nice color as well. Plus, I wanted to put it on there so I can make my topping stick on there. So once that's all done, which I didn't realize I did it so long, geez, I'm just going to continue doing this. Apparently, we're just going to keep putting that egg wash on there. Don't put it too thick. I have done that in the past. And then I have some pepitas here, which are pumpkin seeds. I'm just going to weigh out. I did 2 grams, so I mean, like, not very many at all. Like, it's like 28 grams for a serving of these, which is like a 1/4 cup. I did like 2 grams, so I didn't even count these in the points or the calories, because honestly, you just don't put enough on there, I think, for it to really matter. So I'm just sprinkling the brown sugar, and you, of course, you don't want to use the brown sugar swerve, or, you know, you can use whatever you want on top. You can use real brown sugar if you like. But I'm just going to sprinkle that all on top. Again, this will add a little bit of sweetness, plus it'll kind of add to the color, as you're going to see when they come out of the oven. So I'm just going to continue sprinkling these on. And then I just had this like picture in my head when I was putting the pepitas on there that I could just throw them on there and they're just going to stick. No, I kind of had to place them on there. And I would love to see how people make these kind of things just look so beautiful on top. Mine, they literally look like I tried to place pepitas on top of a bagel. They do not look effortlessly beautiful like they do in bakeries. These are going to go into a 350-degree oven, and mine cooked for 25 minutes. Again, it's going to really depend on your oven, but look at the size of these bagels, you guys. They are huge. So big. I did eat one of them, and I will tell you, and look how well they slice. So I'm going to go ahead and slice one up so you can see how well they slice, because to me, that's the true test of that, because again, I've had issues with the 2-ingredient bagels. Now, these do have a little bit more of a denseness to it. They're not like light and fluffy bagels by no means, but look how well they stay together. These are after they were cooled off, and look at that, you guys. So good. Compare this with some cream cheese. I just toasted them and ate it with a little bit of butter. So good, you guys. And here are the stats on them. So for 4 bagels, it's 229 calories, 47 carbs, 13 grams of protein, and 6 Weight Watcher points. Now, if you were to cut that down to 5 bagels, make 5 bagels instead of 4, you're looking at 183 calories, 10 grams of protein, I believe it was 35 grams of carbs, and 5 Weight Watcher points. So definitely, I think you could still get a good sized bagel out of 5 of them. But you guys, this was so much fun to try to figure out how to make them, and I feel like they turned out so good. Highly recommend this recipe. And if you guys try it, I do want you to let me know how they turned out, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye, guys.